How's it going? Welcome to the Director DMX tutorial here, and it took me a little while to get this out because there were some bugs with the DMX interface in Director, but those have since been squashed, and so now I would recommend you upgrade your Director software if you haven't. Go to the website and download the newest version. It has a whole bunch of fixes and some new features and things like that. So all that aside, let's get to learning about the DMX stuff. Now, beforehand, when you buy chances are you're going to buy some brand name fixture of some sorts, and it's going to come with instructions. All right, make sure you read through the instructions. It will tell you how to set up your device, how to set your DMX channel, how to get to the DMX channel, and all that stuff. So make sure you read the instructions. What I have here is I have a American DJ Mega Tripar profile is what this guy is called. So we're going to be going over how all this does here, how to set it up and how to run it, and you'll get to see it happen in real time. But for that, though, we're going to go over the interface. So you go over to show and you go over to add DMX Slave. There it is. And you have a handful of different things that you can choose from. You have, Servo DMX, and these are all Fright Ideas things here. You can use different controllers as DMX Slave. So you have one controller as the master, and you have the other one telling the other one what to do. So, but we're not going to go through any of that right now. That's a little more advanced. Right now, this is kind of the basics. So you're going to go DMX fixture like this, and this will open up this interface here. And as you'll see, you have a fixture list. You have included and you have mine. Mine is where you can set up your own fixtures. If, let's say, you get something generic that may not, or you get something that necessarily isn't brand name, and it has instructions and how to set up your own stuff, which we'll do in a little bit. But usually you're just going to buy something like American DJ right here, and your device name here is a handful of presets that are already in the director interface. And if there's something that you want, shoot an email over to Fright Ideas, and I'm sure they'll be happy to add this in a future update. So you can see here we have all sorts of things: Chave, Elation, Froggy's Fog, Gantum, Generic, Haunted House Creations, a bunch of different companies here, and even Fright Ideas and Fright Props, which are two different companies. Fright Props carries Fright Ideas. So, Fright Props, you here have like flame shooters, but you also have these, which are these DMX decoders, 24 channel, 9 channel, 3 channel. And what these are, these let you control a lot of different things. Basically, from here, you can control a bunch of different lights and some effects and some other things through the DMX decoder. So you can look into that and play with those down the line. But for what we're doing today, we're going to be messing with an American DJ, the Tripar profile. But this is the plus. So the profile the profile's profile is not in the profile list. So we're going to make our own. But first I want to go over a few things here that you should know about. You'll notice here that it says channel, right? And it jumps from 1 to 4. Well, the reason is this right here, this channel type, this one channel represents all 3 channels. All right. And I'll show you what that means here in a minute. But let's go to the help file, because the help file will tell you more. So you'll see here, as usual, this tells you what's happening in this device image. You can set up your own image here and things like that and all this stuff. But let's talk about the channels grid here. So this channel is telling you what channel that is. And the name, you can name what it does right here. And now your channel type is where things might get confusing for you. So you have line with fill, which is how you'll see a lot of the servos and the dimmable lights. Basically, it's a line with a color infill here. And then, of course, you have line, which is the same thing. It just is a colored line instead of a fill line. I find this easier to see what's going on. But, obviously you can do whatever you want. You have here function cell. Certain fixtures, as it says here, have like built-in functions that only happen in certain levels. So let's say you have a line here, and the line was set to 32. The value was 32. Well, 32, it would fade in, right? But you can do it as a cell, which is like this. like that. You can do it as these different colored functions, and you'll choose the color, stuff like that. And I'll go over a little bit with that here in a little while. You have the function line, which is basically the same thing. It's just done with a filled in line like that. And you have the RGB cell, which is what we have going on here. And you have the on-off cells, which is for like 8 bits in a DMX channel. I rarely have to mess with this one, but there might come a time when you need to. And of course, all this other stuff here that you shouldn't have to mess with, like value and mask, unless it's absolutely necessary. So let's take a look at one of these more up close. Let's take a look at the this fixture here. So we're going to go and we're going to select, and now you'll notice it's popped this up here. You'll notice we have this 4th channel, which is for ultraviolet light, and this is a fill with lines. So right now the UV would be off, but if I did this, it would dim it. It would go from off to full brightness at 255, and then it would fade back down all the way to there like this. Now, that's not exactly what I would call the smoothest transition right there. So what you can do is you can use your editing function and go here, right click, hit transition, and it'll give you a much smoother transition across like that, so that you don't have to worry so much about having a steady hand to do that stuff. So, but we don't have to worry about that right now, but that's what the fill with line is right there. And so let's look at this. This is the RGB cell. So this controls your red, your green, and your blue, as you can see there by the little overlay. So let's say I'm gonna click on, when I click on here, whenever you click on any of these, it'll highlight the row. So I'm clicking here, highlights the entire row, right click, and now I can set the color. You'll see here. And I can do this, and so let's say this will be green. So now this entire row is going to be green. But let's say about halfway through I want it to fade to red. All right, well, I'm going to do this, do my select, set color, go to red, and now what would happen is this would be green, and then this would be a sharp change to red. You'll see there represented as the overlay. But what if I wanted it to be a gradual fade? Okay, well, now you're going to make a selection right here, and you're going to hit transition. And now you'll see how that is a very smooth gradient going from green to red. So that's how you would do the 3 RGB line color thing here. So that's kind of the basis of that there. Let's change the device here. We'll right click this. Oh, by the way, you'll notice here this says DMX 9, and that is the DMX channel on your device. And each device needs to have its own unique address. And again, the instructions you get with it will go over all that stuff. You can set this manually. This is set to automatic, to do the channels automatically, so you don't use something you're not supposed to. But if you unclick this, it will say once you switch back to manual, you cannot go back to automatic, so you want to continue. So once you do that, you have to manually set all the DMX here. But if you right click and go, how do I set this address, it has a little pop-up that tells you how to do it and what to do, like this. And so if some things have a dip switch and some things have like an LCD screen, just so you know. All right, so we're going to change the device here. We're going to actually go over to this right here. So you have the included, but now we're going to go and kind of make our own like this here. So you're going to go to mine, you're going to hit new, and we're going to do ADJ for American DJ, device name Tripar, like that. Model number and notes aren't necessary unless you just want to put those in there for yourself. You can do a thumbnail right here, and if you just want to see the photo of it. If you have a whole bunch of your own that you need to scroll through so you can see what they are, that's good to have there. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to play with a couple of these different things here, right? And the first one is going to be function cell, just so you can see, similar to what we did over here. With this, I just kind of want to show you what this would be. So because in this here, let's say you had the one macro here. So you'll see here that you've got all these different things. You've got between 1 through 7, 8 through 15, it does these things. And what you will able to do, so we're going to, here it says click to view edit. Oh, sorry, I got to put a name in this thing. So we're going to put macros because these are color macros. There we go, like that. So the value here is between 1 and 7. It doesn't matter which one it is, because 1 through 7 doesn't matter what the number is, it'll do the same thing. Okay, So I'm just going to put 5. Why not? And we're going to put amber. Now we're going to do the same thing down here. And again, the number just has to be between 8 and 15. So we're going to do 10. And then what is this? It's another amber. So we'll say medium amber, like that. And I can choose the color here. I can go in and do a yellow for that, and then I can define custom colors. I can make that a medium yellow, whatever that means. So let's do something actually a little more extreme. Let's say I know for sure I only need this one, and let's say primary blue, right? So I'm going to change that to 180, like this, and that's a blue. I don't need that, and we'll do that. Close. Oh, sorry. Oh, the last value. The last value in the list must be 255. All right, so 255, which would be white. So we'll make sure we do that. Forgot about that. Right, and we'll set that there and close. There you go. So now I hit save, hit select, and now it'll have changed this to here, and you'll see it has our different things, different colors, and you can move these around similar to how we did before. So let me select this, and now I'm going to do that. So now that's at 0 because that's, amber right there. But let's say I wanted to do let's do the where is it? Cursor function, there it is. Blue, like that. Sorry, wrong thing. There we go. So now I was hitting the wrong thing. So now my cursor is blue, like this. And now I can change my cursor to white, which would then change it to white. And so you see all the different types of, so you can do that. Now I'd never mess with this, to be fair. I'm just going to warn you right now, this is not something that I tend to mess with. So there you go, it's the function. It doesn't appear that you get to do, you can't do crossfading on this. This is just binary. This is like this color, this color, this color, this color, right? So now if I was to play this, it would be blue, it'd be amber, it'd be this, back to blue, then white, then back to amber. So that is how you would deal with that if you were doing a one channel like this. But that is not fun, is it? So we're going to change the device. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to DMX Device Editor, like this. This way I can just come up here and mess with this without having to do all the other stuff. So we're going to edit this guy. We're going to change that from a function cell, and we're going to do line with fill, like this. All right. So now we're going to make our 3 and 4 channel setup here. All right. So this is going to be red. I'm going to make that red like this. Now I'm going to add green. I'm going to add another one. I'll just add another one, just get it done. And this one will be blue. And this one is our master dimmer for the 4 channel. And we'll make that, I don't know, irritatingly pink. There we go. So now this is the 4 channel setup for the tripar, like this. So if I save this, I close that. Now I can change the device to that. And now this is our setup. You'll notice this kind of just starts with its own random animation here. If I click here, it highlights the whole row, and I can hit delete and make that go all the way down. Escape will turn that off, like that. I like to use keyboard shortcuts. All right, so I have my FlexMax hooked up to Director via a Director Connect module, and if you don't have one of those, you should look into getting it because it lets you control things in real time, which really helps with troubleshooting, and you can control and animate things a lot easier. So Right now, you'll see in the bottom corner of the screen, I have my DMX fixture. And right now it's very dark because nothing's happening right now. And I have it set for 3 channels. It is currently set for a 3-channel, which is red, green, and blue. The dimmer is not involved. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to take this and we're going to have it go from 0 up to full and then back down again, like this. And as I showed you before earlier, we're going to transition that so it is nowhere near as harsh and jagged and weird like that. So now if I play, what you'll see is the light will fade up and get very, very bright, and then the light will fade back down again and turn off. So just like that. Hey, look at that. Neat, huh? And now if I scrub this, you'll see it actually does everything that I want it to do right here. Same thing. There's also down here, you have this thing that is the virtual console, which pops up here, which actually lets you also mess with stuff, just kind of to get values and things where you want them. This kind of lets you just manually run and do things. So if you can sit here and kind of dial in and go, okay, that's 93, that's 255, that's 55. So you kind of lets you go where you want, and you can also control and play stuff, and you'll see how things work. So, but right now we're just messing with these things. So let's say as this fades out, I want this to fade up like that, and then I want that to shut off almost immediately, and then blue to pick up where that left off, like this. So now we're going to do this, and now you'll see that that's going to get a little red-green like that, and then that becomes green, and then fade, it just kicks right onto blue. Like there's a little bit of a weird step there, so you can see that it's doing some weird stuff. But if I wanted to, I can make that not a thing. If I did this, I can hit delete, and that'll just make it a sharp step. So now it's just an immediate switch over like that. And of course, by mixing the colors and things like that, and just changing the levels, it'll determine what colors you get. Now, if all these were at full, if I did all these at 255, these would all become white. You know, you mix everything together, just like that, and now it's a very bright white. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set on the device here, I'm going to set it for 4-channel with the dimmer. Hold on a second. Okay, so I've set this for 4 channels. I've set the light for 4 channels now. And if I kick this up to 255, that's not right, 255, nothing happens, obviously, because the other colors are not telling it to do anything. This is the master dimmer. It affects all colors equally. But if I do this, you'll notice that, again, the red gets intense and gets to here, and then it'll just drop off like that. But if for some reason, let's say I needed this to fade up to here. Hold on a second. Let me do this. So that gets like this. So now I needed this to fade up, just the red, but then I wanted everything to fade out at a certain point. Then I would come here and I would affect this. So now I can I have control over the brightness of this, but then I can leave the red on and that fades out. So, and this is only because this light has the options for this many channels. Quite frankly, you can do the exact same thing with the 3-channel as you can the 4, but the more channels you have, like this would be hooked up to this is if you had it hooked up to a light board or something like that. So then you would have function control over this. For this program, quite frankly, the 3-channel is fine for what you're trying to do. So. And of course, this is just with lighting. The lighting is what gives you a whole lot of options and stuff. You know, you have fog machines that are just basically on and off. So that is the basics of your DMX lighting situation here. Now, let's say you want to add. You can have other things, by the way. Let's insert a device here. We'll insert. Let's do a Fog Jet Fury. Speaking of those things, let's do boom like that, and here you go. There's your other channels there. Select. So now this has added the Fog Jet Fury, and this has chosen the DMX here as 9, And this has changed to 16. So over on my tripar, I would have to go change the DMX channel to 16. So just be aware that that might happen and might change on you randomly. One last thing I want to go over, it involves DMX here, is if you are using the Pico DMX controller here. You'll notice when you go here, you can't do anything. Like this is not you. It looks like it's stuck, but it's all you have to do is add a DMX fixture to the device, and now you can control the show how you can normally. Everything becomes accessible to you. So that is just one other thing I wanted to mention, because it kind of threw me, and there's nothing really in the documentation that lets you know about it. So there you go. That is the basics of the DMX function in Director there. And we'll do another video in the future about how to use the controllers as DMX slaves, go into a little more detail about that. And also, one last piece of advice: if you are wiring up your lights and other things to the FlexMax or a DMX decoder, and they're not coming on or responding, just try swapping the wires. It could just be different wiring on the fixtures. So we'll see you next time.